Good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Graham Espley-Jones. I'm president of Western Community Housing. We are partners with Matter on this community and obviously with the city of Glendale as well, and we'll serve as the general partners of the entity that owns this beautiful property, Citrus Crossings. I like to think of some words that make me think of a community, and I came up with this one with three things. It's beautiful, it's affordable, there can be resident services, and the last one, it's good for the environment. So what does that mean? Well, obviously, I think it's clear how beautiful it is. And again, if you have to take the time to do the tour afterwards to see it. It's affordable, 127 affordable senior units that provide affordable housing to seniors living in Glendale with incomes ranging from 20 to 70% of AMI. That typically means, if I get the math right, that people with incomes as low as $12,000 can move probably up to somewhere in the $52,000 range. So really affordable community, which will be a great asset. On the resident services, we're going to have our partner engage. We have a representative from sitting back there who will be starting services relatively soon. And they've partnered with Western. In fact, we're formed together. I don't know if you know that. We're 25 years old as well, so are you. So we're formed at the same time, right around the corner in Burbank, so not too far from here. But they will oversee on-site programs for the residents, including arts, wellness, and lifelong learning, and much more. The only thing I can say about them is they will make a difference in the residents living here. They will make a difference. So thank you, Engage, for being on board. On the good for the environment, this property's LEED Platinum. I think we just got the plaque up today, so it's up in the lobby. If you ever happen to see the aerial view of this building, there's a drone picture that is really worth looking. If anybody wants to see it, I have a copy in my bag over here, but you'll see the solar panels. There's EV charging, LED lighting. Kind of an interesting fact here, to put on a cool roof as well. Second building we ever did a cool roof on, but it really, really helps. So again, the City of Glendale development team have really done something special here.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Now that Graham's taken all my talking points, I will just say on behalf of the City of Glendale that we are very excited for the opening. We are committed to affordable housing. I do want to recognize a former council member that is also here who was and has always been very passionate about affordable housing, and that's former council member Reja Rajanyan that's present. Yes, please. We talk a lot about affordable housing in the City of Glendale and how we make the quality of life in our residents such that we can take immense pride in what we provide to them. One of those key elements is how a community takes care of its youth and how it takes care of its seniors. Today, as we stand here today, 126 senior families are going to be able to call this place home. My favorite part was coming up and already seeing the laundry hanging outside, bringing life along with the flowers and the trees. And so on behalf of the City of Glendale, I want to thank Meta Housing, Western Community, our city staff. We have City Manager Rubik Gulanyan here. I see Mr. Bradley Calvert. If the housing staff can stand up, because this is all your work. Where are they? Mike? And I'll say that there's more where this came from. We're proud to have the City of Glendale be building additional affordable housing. One of the largest affordable housing projects is going to be coming up in the winter of 2025. Our Pioneer Project, which has 340 units. And so as we celebrate here today, I invite all of you to please tour the building. And as you have additional opinions to give on how we can make Glendale better, all of us are here to take your input. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I apologize if my comments may seem a bit redundant. I think we're all here in the same spirit, celebrating what we've achieved as an organization It's my honor to speak to you as the chair of the Housing Authority, which is comprised of the 5 council members, as well as 2 individuals from the community who are participants in various housing programs. So on behalf of every single council member who serves on that, along with members Laura Parazian and Vice Chair, I believe Robert Ajinyan is the Vice Chair of our authority. I want to thank everyone for coming, and most of all, I want to thank the people that made this possible. As the mayor mentioned about, the type of communities we serve. It reminded me of a quote by Vice President Hubert Humphrey, who said, "The moral test of any government is how it treats those individuals who are in the dawn of their life, the children, those who are in the twilight of their life, their seniors, and those who live in the shadows of life, the disabled, those in need." And when we look at what this building is, what is around us, what was here before, we are definitely doing our part to pass that moral test that is before a government agency. Tobin World was a very well-known, well-recognized organization in our community that served the developmentally disabled, many of them youth in our community. And as they were not able to continue their mission, and this property could have transferred on to anyone else that could have built probably anything that they wanted, we answered that call by stepping up, making sure that this was a project that continued to serve those individuals who rely on their government to provide them with the services. So now today, as has been mentioned, this is going to be senior housing, and we are very blessed for that. As was already mentioned, I do want to point out former Mayor Vej Agajanian and his advocacy on this project, as well as the many council members that came before us. But I also want to take a quick moment to thank staff that was instrumental in this. So if you'll indulge me, I want to give a special shout out to Michelle Yakikian, Mark Berry, Roger Kiesel, Leah Sarolian, and of course, Peter Zovak and Mike Fortney, without whom we would not have been able to see this building come to fruition and completion. So thank you, all of you, and congratulations.
All right, good morning, everyone. On behalf of all of us at Bank of America, our teammates who work in the field of community development banking, Brandon Butcher, especially on the team here, and we have 6,000 employees that work and live in Southern California. Many of them, hundreds of them, work not too far from here on Brand Avenue. We're really delighted to be a part of the rebuilding and the revitalization of the Glendale community. So congratulations, Graham, to your organization, to Meta, but especially to the city of Glendale. Such a forward-thinking city. And the councilman mentioned a great quote from Hubert Humphrey. I was reminded of something that Gandhi said: the true measure of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. And if that's true, then the city of Glendale, and certainly the partners, and Bank of America is proud to be among those, have set a very, very high and honorable standard for Southern California in terms of how we treat our seniors, how we view the housing of our citizens. So congratulations to everyone involved. We are excited to put this capital to work. Capital counts, it's very important, but purposeful, sustainable, meaningful capital is even more important. So through the construction lending, the tax credits, the equity, those things are put to great use in transforming what was just, I think it was March 2022. I save a lot of my emails. That was the groundbreaking. And if you think about how this plot of land was transformed into something that is truly going to sustain the lives of some really wonderful citizens here in the city of Glendale. So congratulations to everybody, and we're proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. My name is Hao, and I'm with City Community Capital. We're the affordable housing lending and investment arm of Citibank. And we are the perm lender on Citrus Crossing. So we come in and pay down the Bank of America construction loan, and we are the long-term partners on this project. And Citibank is very much committed to affordable housing lending, especially here in Southern California. In LA County alone, over the last 10 years, we financed over 8,000 units of both new construction and rehab of affordable housing over the last decade, and we financed 650 of those units in the city of Glendale during that same time period. So very committed to the communities. I would say that, a project like this, this is one of the most beautiful affordable housing projects I've seen in my career. And it's not easy to put together. There's so many moving pieces, and it really takes a unique set of skills to cobble this together, to get the entitlements, to get the financing, to get to the closing. We had to negotiate a ground lease and work with a lot of parties, and Meta Housing has really demonstrated themselves at being excellent in this field. I want to recognize their team members here, Allison Levy, for all that you've done, and as well as Taylor and Chris and Casey. We have done a lot of transactions over the years. I counted, we've done about 18 transactions in the last 10 years, about 2,800 units of affordable housing throughout California, $470 million of financing. It really takes a unique set of skills to get us here. A project like this wouldn't be possible without a great team, village of people, public-private partnership. I want to thank, again, B of A for their leadership on the construction loan and the equity, the City of Glendale and the Glendale Housing Authority for their funding, as well as the ground lease, as well as the California Tax Credit Allocation Committee and the Debt Limit Allocation Committee. These projects are financed with tax-exempt bonds and tax credit equity, and without which these affordable housing projects would not be possible. I also want to recognize our team that's here. If you can raise your hands, Ron Mitnick, Sean Veal, Zainab, Zijan, and Leo. We're going to be here for the long term as a lender. And I just want to say that coming to these types of grand openings remind me why I work in affordable housing. It's not just getting to the closing, it's not just working through numbers, but it's seeing the property, it's meeting the residents. And I want to say congratulations to the Meta team and to the residents. Thank you all.
Thank you. So we've had a lot of great speakers today, but my hero is coming up. So, but she is between you and lunch, but no, she's very good. So I'm going to introduce Allison Levy.
It's possible that Graham and I have done this before. And as some of you know, we not only did this before, but we did this, and I did the math, or Google did the math, 916 days ago. And so I think if you look around, you can see all that has happened in that time. And part of what I get to do, other than stand, as he mentioned, between you and touring this beautiful property, from taking pictures with our big clown scissors and celebrating and eating, is really thanking the people who day in and day out over the past 916 plus, if you go back to when the plans were developed, days on this project. And so I want to start very quickly with the Glendale Housing Authority, with Mike and the Housing Authority team at the city. They were really the instigators of this project. It was a city RFP. The city looked at this campus, looked at this site, and I say this site including both our project and the one that is wrapping up construction next door, and said we can do something really special here. And so really, I think huge thank you to that team from the city for visualizing these two sites, for the Paseo in between them, and for knowing that this could become the community that it is sort of very close to being once they're all complete. So huge, huge thank you to Glendale for that vision. Can't clap in a microphone. From that point, there were a number of people who kind of took that and brought it to paper. Kind of initially the group from KFA Architecture, who worked through the entitlement process with the city, and then handed it over to our architecture firm, AC Martin. So a big thank you if we can get all of our AC Martin team, led in the day-to-day by Jerome Scott. It is kind of no small feat to take a building and say, we want it to be comfortable for seniors, we want it to be accessible as required for all affordable housing, and we want it to be beautiful, and we want it to be functional. And the AC Martin team did an amazing job of meeting each of those challenges along the way and truly designing the space that we're in today. That being said, the space that we're in is actually the exterior of the building. And so kind of the next thank you from me today is our Studio 111 team, kind of Kirk and the team, if you can, there we go. As you look around, when you see the trees, when you see the greenery, when you see the way that the indoor space and the outdoor space really reflect building community, building spaces, and especially when we go and we stand and we enjoy the Paseo, please thank you to Studio 111 for really helping us, once again in the city of Glendale, recognize what's possible in these spaces. We're so excited to do that. I'm so excited for you to tour the spaces upstairs in the building and kind of see how that feels up on those fifth floor courtyards as well. And again, we need the guts of the building. We have our green MEP team. We have our LFA team. I joked as we walked in that we're all standing on their podium that they designed so that we can comfortably do that and park our cars underneath us. We have Richard Cardoza, who is really our eyes and our ears to make sure this space is accessible for our residents. We have our team from Venaclaus in here today, making sure that the space functions with all of its details and is comfortable to inhabit for people. So many players, and that kind of leads me to my last thank you between us and lunch, which is really the Melinda White team who's here. There we go. Our day-to-day team on this site who literally built this project. So a huge thank you to them for really their commitment to getting this project completed, keeping us on track, on schedule. And I think as you tour this project, you will also see just their attention to detail in construction was really remarkable here. It is a great project. They were a great team to work with here. So, a special thanks to Gabe and to Jack and to Art and to Larry, who were, day in and day out on this project site. We would not be here without you guys, so thank you. Kind of the last two pieces is as we celebrate, I do also want to celebrate our neighbors who will be doing something hopefully very similar very soon. We are excited to share both parking on this site and our paseo with our neighbors at Abode, who will be providing even more affordable housing just across the way. And it's not every day we get to partner with a fellow developer, and this has been really a kind of a neat and unique experience to do that with them. So thank you for your partnership in helping create that space as well. And then last but not least, we get to go cut a ribbon. So that's kind of our last piece, but before we do that, I do want to recognize probably the most important long-term component of this project, which is our residents. Kind of the last thing I like to say before you do this, and on behalf of all of you who are now here, I encourage you kind of speak to these people, let them know where we are, and on behalf of everyone who has been involved up to this point, and especially on behalf of Meta Housing, welcome home. Thank you.
1, 2.